Having just blown up a bow on the tiller, I thought I'd have a good old tidy up and then pick up a different project. So this is a bow from one of the ladies who shoots with the ILAA, which is a longbow society. They mostly do roving, but they do a bit of field, and I've even done a popinjay with them. Now, I never mention bowyers' names unless it's a bow that I like and a nice bow. So I don't like to diss anybody. This, I believe, is a Neil Harrington bow, and you'll see it's got a nice little bit of back set on it. And it's about £50. I think I just measured it just now, I think it was 45, but 45.50. And she wants it taken down to about 40, or a whisker below. She lent it to someone, and it's got a bit scruffy in parts. You know, it's had a few bumps. So it wants a little bit of tidying up, weight taken down, but I'll get it on the tiller and see where I want to take weight off it. It's a little bit flat on the back, so I might round the back slightly and might take the grip off and just put a little bit of leather under there to round it a bit more. But it's a nice slim bow, and you can tell how nice it is because at 45 odd pound I should be able to string that by hand easily. But with that back set, it's got a lot of nice early draw weight, and I actually need a stringer. Actually, looking down it, you can see there's a very slight, like a kink in the lower limb, just here. I don't know if you can see that. It's just where it's perhaps taken a whisker of set. There's nothing to worry about in the slightest, but just bear that in mind when I see it on the tiller. I mean, I've looked at it once, but I'll show you guys. And I think basically the lower limb's probably taken that little bit of set and is slightly weak, so I'll be mostly easing off the upper limb. So I've got it on the tiller. People always ask me, why is it tilted on the tiller? Well, you can see the knocking point there, so I'm pulling it at the knocking point and I'm supporting it where the hand would be. The arrow passes here, the knocking point is opposite, so it's pulled from slightly off centre. Now, you'll see it's got pretty much a regulation brace height, and if we look at it without touching it, I would suggest there's a bit more bend here than elsewhere. Now this was probably originally tillered to 28, but she only wants a 27-inch draw, so let's just take it to 27 and see how it looks. So let's pull it, and I think you'll agree, well, I don't care if you agree or not, I can see that lower limb's weak, and one reason you can see that is because it's not pulling the bow back square. If the left limb is a bit stiffer, it tends to rock the bow back over to where it should be. So there's 26, right, that's 27, so it's only about 45, so it's funny, I thought it was 50, but anyway, 45, mind you, it's a warm day today, it might have just dropped a pound or two. So what I'll tend to do is take the weight mostly off this limb. I think the tiller has got that sort of Victorian look to it, where the outers are working fairly hard. You know, an elliptical tiller, if you like. Relatively stiff in the middle, outers coming round. So I think what I'll probably do is just ease off this limb a bit, and we'll probably get it down to 40 quite nicely. I might round the corners of the back slightly. I might take the grip off and pad it out. I might leave it be. Just a nice little project to have a tinker with. It's not something I like doing a lot, but it's, you know, I've shot with the lady, and yeah, I've made her a bow before, so it's quite nice to, you know, do stuff for people. Keeps me out of mischief, gives me something to do, and it's nice to see the work of other bowyers and keep a bow shooting. Just maintenance, you know, running repairs if you like. just looking down it, and maybe got a hint of trying to go that way. Very little to see really. That's just something to bear in mind, because it is, as I said, it's nice and narrow at the tips. The horn knocks are quite pretty. They're not stupidly big. They're a little bit bigger than I like, a little bit longer than I like, but they are nice and slim. If you look at that, it's a very slim knock. And similarly at the other end, a bit longer than I'd like personally, but nice and slim. So yeah, that'll keep me out of mischief. Of course I can unstring it, but it's quite a strain to string it and slide it's just trying to slide the string up onto the knock is a bit difficult, so good to use a stringer. But there you have it, a nice bow. Do a bit of work on it. I'll clean off the varnish using white spirit and wire wool. Might just round that back a little bit. It's a little bit flat, you know what I mean? It's just a little bit more rounding, just looks nice, feels nice. But a nice bow. And I'll have the fun of shooting it when it's done.